All right, a very big welcome to you, my awesome viewers and subscribers from all over the world. This is The Truth with Ben Jokes, your trusted political talk show. Now, hardship in Nigeria intensifies as we approach May 29. Insecurity is widespread, and without doubt, Nigerians are on their own. House of Rep members put a call across to Bayo Nonuga. He referred them to Nuhu Ribadu. Nuhu Ribadu refused to take their calls and he refused to reply their messages because he knew they wanted to question him on why he is going around the country telling everybody that the security situation has improved when in fact the situation is getting worse. Ribadu didn't take their calls. And that serves the lawmakers right. The lawmakers deserved to be snubbed and ignored in that manner. They reduced themselves to hungry charlatans when they began singing, "On your mandate we shall stand" for Tinubu, a man that you are supposed to be checking. You became his praise singer. The nation definitely has completely gone off track. All the sectors are collapsing. We have lost count of the number of communities that have been lost to terrorists and killer headsmen. Over 80% of the budget for fighting insurgency goes into private pockets, and that corruption is hitherto prevalent. Soldiers don't have equipment, they don't have weapons to fight these insurgents. Anytime money is released for any project in this country, over 90% of the money will be embezzled, from student loan to foreign aids. What kind of nation is this? And few hours ago, a touching story came out of Kaduna State. A man declared himself an enemy of Nigeria forever after he ran into one of the kidnappers who kidnapped him, now being pampered by the Nigerian government as a repentant terrorist. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, Shettima once again heralded the confusion in Aso Rock when he began speaking like Peter Obi, warning that we must start growing our own food in Nigeria. Now, he was sending out this very strong warning to Tinubu and his cabinet members after the International Fund for Agricultural Development, the French Development Agency, and the Nigerian government came together to raise $158 million for agriculture in Nigeria. Shettima, knowing fully well that all the funds released for projects in the past have been stolen by the Lagos boys surrounding Tinubu, began warning them that this time around, this one must be used for the purpose for which it was released, and that is agriculture, stating that the nation is in trouble if we don't start producing as soon as possible. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. The first video here is a very heartbreaking one. This one shows Nigerian soldiers dumping the battlefield, leaving the fight against insurgency and stating their reasons. See the video.
Many men don't follow. Allah.
It's not easy, I swear.
Many men don't fall, so we just got to go out. If army is ready, if Nigeria is ready to fight them, they should call us back. We'll fight those idiots. But we don't have enough weapon, enough adequate weapon to fight them. So we can't just be wasting our life. We have families.
Your talk is true.
But without weapon, we are not a soldier. Weapon makes us to be a soldier. Let them provide the weapon and we fight the idiot out. But it's not that they will give me this and then they will come with something more than this times 3. Oh boy, I know. I have blood in myself, so blood runs through me. So we just have to go. We are going home. Let us go and do the new year with our family. If the army is ready, let them call us back with the adequate weapon.
Wow, I felt some emotions watching that video. I have to commend these soldiers for their courage and sacrifice, but sometimes I can't help but ask, why do they keep serving a nation that doesn't want to be served? And I guess the ones in this video we just watched asked that same question, and that was why they decided to dump the army. And if you don't know, I will tell you, so many soldiers have fled the army just like this. They will just stand up and go, no need to write to anybody. And you heard them, they said when they are ready, they will call us, because clearly the government is not ready. When there are no weapons, we are saying that you are denying them allowances, but to the point that you don't give them adequate weapons, it clearly shows you are not ready. So many of them are leaving and dumping the army. That was why the lawmaker from Chibok said the soldiers were grossly outnumbered, but the Minister of Information was trying to shut everyone down. Your soldiers are fleeing the battlefield and you are saying people should not talk about it. What a disaster. Now, this next video here is a video of Godswill Akpabio fooling himself on the floor of the Senate. See the video.
To step down. Who told you I was going to step down? You know, if you watch what has the current revelations in America, you realize that there are some black people, because of their skins, who went to prison, sometimes 37 years, sometimes 27 years, some 25 years, for false allegations. So I'm not one of those people who would, as you say, will step down for false allegation. Then when eventually it is proven that the allegations were false, they will say, oh, we were unfair to Akpabio. No, I'm not that bad. So if you had that in mind, please cancel it. So having said that, I must thank you for the words that you have spoken today.
You saw that. A man of this caliber accused of sexual harassment, and he thinks it's something to laugh about. What a shameless man. And it is funny how he felt very comfortable comparing himself with the men who were wrongly jailed in America. It shows that he doesn't even value the office that he occupies. Senate President comparing himself with ordinary citizens of America who were wrongly jailed. Yet he wants to compare himself with Peter Obi. A Peter Obi whose phone was bugged by the APC. They tapped his phone for months and they monitored his calls and messages for months and found nothing against him. Absolutely nothing. If you hold Akpabio's phone for just 5 minutes, just hold it for 5 minutes. Before the end of that day, you will harass somebody sexually. He will transfer that plague to you through his phone. What a shameless man. Now, let us look at the top stories. The first one here is the touching story of a man from Kaduna who declared himself an enemy of Nigeria forever after he ran into a kidnapper who kidnapped him in a mosque, now Repentant. And next is that update from Shettima. Shettima is now sounding like Peter Obi. In this speech, he sent a strong warning to his own government that we must start producing what we eat. And this warning came after a $158 million project was launched. In essence, Shettima was warning Tinubu and his cabinet not to embezzle that money as they have done with other monies in the past. Let's start by taking that update from Kaduna State. Look at how the papers reported it. I won't forgive Nigerian government, man says after meeting bandits who abducted him, now Repentant in Kaduna mosques. 3 years after enduring harrowing 197 days in captivity, Bala Muhammad, a survivor of the 2022 Abuja-Kaduna train attack, says he has forgiven his abductors but not the Nigerian government. In an interview with the Trust TV, Muhammad recounted a surreal moment when he unexpectedly met one of his former captors at a mosque in Bairua area of Kaduna metropolis during Friday prayers. Surely, I met one Abubakar who happened to be our guard when we were held at Shema filling station in Bakinrua. After prayer, I turned and saw a face I recognized. He just laughed at me, and when we shook hands, then he panicked and began to tremble, Muhammad narrated. At the beginning, the kidnapper did not know the person, so he just laughed at him. But when he shook hands with him and looked straight into his eyes, he realized that it was somebody that he had kidnapped, and the kidnapper began to tremble. Meanwhile, the victim, Bala Muhammad, said he will never forgive the Nigerian government for pardoning terrorists. But surprisingly, he said he has forgiven the terrorist himself. The bottom line here is that bad governance, bad policies, bad moves are ripping off the soul of this country. For various reasons, more than 98% of Nigerians don't love Nigeria. Many are just still living here because they cannot afford to live. That is the country that we are building. And that is what Peter Obi keeps saying. He said there is a country called Nigeria, but there are no Nigerians, meaning patriotism is lacking. And without patriotism, how can we ever develop as a people? It is so heartbreaking. And Godson here says, Nigerian politicians and government are the most insane people on earth. I feel the pain of that man and concern. How can a government spend millions of naira to rehabilitate terrorists? It is heartbreaking. That is it. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to this, that update from Shettima warning Tinubu and his cabinet began making the rounds. Look at how the papers reported it. Shettima, global trade war, a warning for Nigeria to grow what we eat. Kashim Shettima says the recent global trade disruptions and the resurgence of protectionism are warnings to Nigeria to begin to grow what its people eat and produce what they trade. Speaking at the presidential villa Abuja during the signing ceremony of the financing agreement for the value chain program in northern Nigeria, Shettima described the initiative as a product of critical thinking about the economic reality of the northern region. He said, with the signing of the agreement, the implementation of the $158.15 million VCN project begins immediately to support agricultural value chain development and value addition for farmers in 9 states of the northern part of the country. The initiative is co-founded by the International Fund for Agricultural Development, the French Development Agency, and the government of Nigeria. According to Kashim Shettima, it is expected to sustainably reduce poverty, enhance nutrition, and better resilience of rural and most vulnerable populations in 9 northern states of Borno, Bauchi, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara. His words, the agricultural tariffs and retaliatory postures of global powers like the US and China have rattled commodity chains. For a nation that has long relied on food imports, the message is clear. We must grow what we eat and produce what we trade. Wow, the chicken will eventually come home to roost. This is what a certain man called Peter Obi has been going around the whole country to let us know. He said we are not producing anything. All the natural resources that we have in weather, in soils, and even other natural resources are not being put to use. The entire focus is on crude oil, and even the crude oil money is being stolen dry. He said we cannot continue like this. We must become a producing nation. We must shift from consumption to production. At the beginning, they wanted to dispel him like a noisemaker, but now everybody is coming back to the things that Peter Obi has said. And Shettima is warning his own government that we must begin to produce what we eat. You don't need to come out and tell us, Shettima. Just go and meet Tinubu at the villa and tell him that, Oga, let's start producing what we eat. Oh, I forgot. You both are not in good terms, I see. And it is not as if I am saying Shettima is interested in good governance. I am not holding brief for Shettima. I am just pointing out how confused they are and how disconnected and discontent Shettima is with what is happening in Aso Rock. And of course, it gives me so much joy to see that there is a misunderstanding there. And I hope that it will continue until the party will eventually scatter. And when I talk about the APC scattering, it is not because I hate anybody. It is not because I think that any politician is God. We are all human beings and nobody is perfect. But it is because I know that these APC, for them to continue in power, it is disaster for Nigeria, because all the problems we have will continue to get worse, from unemployment to insecurity to hunger to poverty. All the international bodies have told us that everything is going to get worse towards 2027. So why should I want such an evil cult group to continue in Nigeria? I should never want that. And that is why I keep speaking against them. Don't come and tell me that all the parties are the same. They are not. I was in this country under the PDP, and I know the difference from what it is now under the APC. In other news, AAC condemns Tinubu's visit to Anambra for Governor Soludo's frivolous project amid rising insecurity and hunger. Well, you can condemn and condemn all you want, but Tinubu is moving carelessly. He doesn't care about whatever you think. The people can see the man is not hiding it anymore. Only 23 months into his regime and his campaigning, he has gone to Katsina for a wedding for an Owambe. And then he went to Anambra State for a needless visit. Those are his priorities, not Benue, not Plateau where people are being slaughtered, not even in the southwest. Places like Ondo State where people are being butchered, the man does not care. He only cares about himself, his family, his friends, and his political associates. Nigerians should know that. Get that into your heads. He is never going to change. The APC is never going to change. As a matter of fact, things are going to get worse. When Nigerians are tired of being treated like animals in their fatherland, they should stand up, unite, and take their country back. But until then, make I still enter town, make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go away.